If you have heard or watched Formula One, you would understand that it is bad for the environment, as they emit tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere when they are driving around a circuit for an hour and a half. However, this is only 0.7% of the 256,551 tonnes of CO2 getting released into the atmosphere. But the worst part of Formula One isn't the driving, it's the travel. As F1 is a global sport, the drivers, the media, and the various teams have to travel to a different location 23 times in the 2022 season. Once you factor in the thousands of spectators travelling, as well as the motorhomes and other equipment being transported by boats or planes, the total impact of this has a massive toll on the environment. F1 is trying to improve this issue by launching a project called Countdown to Zero, meaning the sport are trying to get it carbon neutral by 2030, or roughly 8 years from now, and here's how they are doing it. In 2014, Formula One changed to V6 hybrid engines. This is probably one of the biggest moves to try and make the sport more environmentally friendly. In 2022, F1 has changed the cars dramatically. One example is that all teams must use E10 fuel. The substance contains 10% ethanol and is made from second generation biofuel, which has to be produced in a sustainable way. Furthermore, Formula One are trying to get their cars to be seen as environmentally friendly from a publicity standpoint. They are planning to do this by moving to biofuels in 2025. This means the vehicles will be powered by renewable energy sources instead of petroleum, and the teams have started to test them from 2020. So if it all goes to plan, we could see this in 3 years. However, as I mentioned, this is only 0.7% of the total carbon emissions. The biggest issue is travel and logistics. They are trying to resolve this by launching ultra-efficient travel, or travelling with no wasted space or excessive weight, and using transport least harmful to the environment, for example using planes powered by biofuels. But F1 cannot control this, however it is the best a sport can do. Another massive issue is the facilities and factories, which adds up to 19.3%, especially McLaren's in Woking. Formula One is trying to combat this issue by making all teams use renewable energy sources, and all the waste should get recycled, composted or repurposed to try and reach zero carbon emissions by 2030. However, there could be another option, which is known as electricity, but it is not a realistic option because Formula E has a contract with the governing body known as the FIA till 2044 to be the only single-seater motorsport series. Furthermore, the engines are not powerful enough and its top speed is approximately 174 miles per hour. This could potentially lose the majority of the fans within the sport because it lacks performance, speed and power. Another route they could go into is hydrogen, because Red Bull, Green GT and Total are taking part in a project known as Mission 24 to produce a hydrogen-powered car. A hydrogen car generates power by using oxygen from the air and hydrogen which is stored in the fuel tanks. This chemical reaction generates electricity and water. The electricity is stored into the motor to power it throughout the race, and the water is discharged into the air known as water vapour through the car's exhaust system. This car can reach a speed of 300 km per hour, similarly to a 24-hour Le Mans car. When the car is participating in the event, it will get refueled by a mobile hydrogen station. The hydrogen is stored in cylinders connected by an entry port that gets to the compressor and then is stored at 450 bar in tanks connected to the ceiling. Refueling the car will take less than 4 minutes, which is twice as quick as a consumer hydrogen fueling station. If this car all goes to plan for the championship and the race, then more research can be done for hydrogen-powered road cars. However, there is one massive problem: storing it. Hydrogen can be very inefficient to store because the weight and volume of hydrogen storage devices are still too large, resulting in insufficient vehicle range. That sums up everything that Formula One are trying to do to resolve the climate crisis. Even though they are small changes, they will add up massively once you factor in what they are doing. As Formula One are doing this, it can pave the way for other sports and industries to follow their plan to help the environment.